Infernal greetings, infernal blessings to all. Personalization. We will be discussing personalizing your magic, your work, your sorcery. Why is this important? First, let me begin by sharing some information that S. Ben Cain, who wrote the book of Smokeless Fire, Part 1 and 2, shares within his book. S. Ben Cain even states in there that a magician, black magician, should always personalize their work. Meaning, although you're getting certain context, certain rituals within a book from an author, you should never do the ritual as it is written, for that is not wielding your power into this planet, solar system, universe, etc. You should take what is given and personalize it by changing it into something that resonates with your spirit, your soul, and your mind. Far too often, people read books and then they do the ritual as it is written. I know of plenty of people who've done that. The problem with that is when you do that ritual as it is written, the energy that is being casted out is being more directed towards the author or the individual who created that ritual than to the direction of your intention. This is why in the book of Smokeless Fire, he repeats that a few times because your essence is not involved as deeply in that ritual as if it was created by your own hand. Every ritual you see in a book, you should look at it as a template. Now, I can't tell you what to do, etc., etc. I'm going to share how I do it and other sorcerers or black adepts on the left hand path. We look at a ritual that may be from someone else as a template that can be maneuvered, shifted, edited, changed into something that now has your essence on it. This is very important moving forward because if you truly want to benefit, receive the utmost benefit from your work on this left hand path, stop feeding your energy to others. In all my Patreon classes, I always tell the members to do the task of personalizing the ritual before they do it. Personalize it with your essence. That doesn't mean take the whole ritual and change a few words in the invocation. That means reconstruct. That means deconstruct to reconstruct the ritual. Tear it down, break it down. This is a vital element, this is not, so on and so forth, because it has to resonate with your spirit, soul, and mind. That is one of the biggest mistakes I notice with practitioners on the left hand path. That is personalizing, is when you deconstruct to reconstruct that ritual with your essence all over it. The invocation that's given to you by an author does not mean when you change it that it's any less profound or beneficial to that author. It just means that it is not your words, it is their words. Therefore, their energy was stamped into that ritual when they created it with that invocation or evocation. So don't just change a few words, don't just change a sigil. Deconstruct that ritual and reconstruct it again. That is what helps you journey deeper into your subconscious mind than what is written or given to you from someone else. That is the task of personalizing your sorcery, your magic. Now, there is a difference between magic and sorcery. Remember, these are thoughts and musings on the left hand path. So, though I start with personalization, we are going to hit various topics and discuss various subjects. Personalizing is more than just ritual work. Personalizing also is how do you personally use your sorcery in your life. For example, there is a difference between a magician and a sorcerer. A magician is bound by restrictions and regulations. For example, do no harm to others. A sorcerer, sorceress is not bound by such rules, restrictions, and regulations. Two, a sorcerer looks within, does the work from within out. A magician uses out and in. Everything we do as a sorcerer begins inside of us and goes out. So therefore, we don't need nature, though we can use it. We don't need sigils, though we can use it. We don't need objects, statues, etc., though we can use it in our work. So my sorcery is personal on every level. So let's just, for example, use altar, the altar. Many people have various archetypes, gods, deities, demons on their altar. There's a problem with that. That puts you many times still in a state of worship. And therefore, it creates a separation between you and the object. My altar has no deities, no archetypes, just one, Set Satuh. Set Satuh, however, is on my altar as a representation of myself. Everything on my altar is a representation of myself. Therefore, you will see vampires. You will see Sith. You will see the skull of a coyote. You will see human skulls. You will see human bones. You will see various objects that are a representation of who I am. I work heavy with the death current. Vampirism is a part of the death current, but I need no deity or archetype to put a external focus on, so that way I just cut that middleman out and just do internalizing focus within the self. When I see that statue of the vampire, I'm not saying, oh, hail vampire, and then various names of vampires in history, mythology, whatever. Oh, hail Dracula or Dracul, the Dracul current. Oh, hail Nosferatu. Oh, hail Elizabeth Bathory. Oh, hail. I don't do that because that's still going subconsciously into a state of worship, which we will touch on in a moment. That is still subconsciously taking you to a state of worship. So the vampire is me. When I see my vampire there, I see myself in my physical form and in my astral form and my beast like form. They all represent me. There is no, oh, hail anyone. When I work with Set, I do not hail Set. I speak to Set as if I'm speaking to myself or I'm speaking to my homeboy. Why humans worship and continue to worship, whether you're right hand path, left hand path, or whatever path you want to claim, is because we have we have a DNA inside of us, which has been verified, that leads to the state of worship. Now, you're going to see various amounts of topics and subjects, like I said, I will discuss and cover in this video, that is a part of my journey, is a part of my understanding, and what I'm going to share with you all tonight. As you all know, my journey began in 1989. In the 90s, I was heavily studying ancient civilizations, Sumerian, ancient Egyptian, or Kemetic, or Cometian, however you want to say it to make you feel superior some way, somehow, which doesn't. I went really deep into that. According to the Sumerian doctrine, we humans are a byproduct of the Anunnaki, who come from Nibiru, who some say is a planet, some will say it's Saturn or Jupiter, some will say it's a ship that moves around in a shar or an 3,600 years, or so on and so forth. However, cutting all the extra out, when the Anunnaki came here, they came here multiple times, but one of the time through here, they decided to mine for gold here because their planet was going through physical turmoil and destruction. So they needed to mine for minerals, particularly gold. They knew of a planet within a solar system that was rich in gold. Earth. They've heard of it. They heard about it before because there were scouts sent out to go and find these things. So when they came here, there was primitive man here already. Primitive man was looked upon by the Anunnaki because they got lazy. The Gigi, the Anunnaki, the Thingir, so on and so forth. They got lazy working the mines here on Earth and in Mars, mining for gold. They got lazy, got tired. You wonder why as humans we get lazy? Well, if you want to accept that story to be true, and there's parts of it that do correlate with facts, then the lazy gene was also put inside of us, and you'll see how. So when they got tired of working the mines, they looked upon the primitive man. Now there was two brothers, Enki and Enlil, which are going to be crucial to the story we're going to share and tie it into the worship gene. Enki and Enlil were here. Enki Enki was the caretaker of the planet Earth. Enlil was the given rulership over this earth by his father Anu. Anu, the heavenly one, or the one in the sky, would be the highest of the Anunnaki. He gave rulership to Enlil, who's his second son, but by birthright, that's his blood son, because Enki was not from the exact same bloodline, because Anu had intercourse with someone in his concubine, and therefore Enki was birthed. So Enki was a wise scientist. also known as Ea. He loved the waters. And because he was a wise scientist, he was tasked with the monumental goal of extracting the gold. When Enlil was given rulership over the earth, of course, it caused conflict between the two, but they decided to work together for now. Well, the point came when they got tired of working the mines. Enki came up with a suggestion: why don't we use primitive man that exists here already and put our DNA into them? Well, needless to say, the DNA experiment took place. And Ninhursag, the sister of Enki and Enlil, also known as Aset or Isis in the Egyptian story, was able to figure out how to splice the DNA, their Anunnaki DNA, with the primitive man to create human. But Enlil, fearing that these humans having Anunnaki DNA would one day rebel, so Enki made sure that a worship gene was put inside the human DNA strand. Enki, having fallen in love with his creation, a human creation, decided to put the rebellious DNA inside of us, unbeknownst to Enlil. He sneakily did it, and therefore you have what you have today. Now, I use that story as an example. Whether you choose to believe that or not, your choice. Do the research. I researched that for many years. Still read it. It fascinates me. Tablets of Creation, Tablets of Destiny, the Enuma Elish, Gilgamesh epic, so on. A lot of that fascinates me because it does answer some missing pieces in our human evolution, but that's another story. However, let's say that was true. Then this would answer why humans always worship. They can't get away from worship. And those who are strong enough activate the rebellious gene that Enki put within us, and we rebel against worship, religion, subjugation, so on and so forth. Now, the reason the Anunnaki created humans, the Lulu, was for one simple reason: to be slaves and servants to the Anunnaki, to mine for gold. This is why you are taught to be a servant of God, Enlil, a servant of God, Enlil. Enlil, Lil, El, El Elo, Ilium El, Allah, so on and so forth. You were taught that the Anunnaki were superior beings who we, in our human minds, because of their high scientific minds, the Anunnaki scientists, we looked upon them as gods because they appeared to have more power than we did. They appeared to have power that was unbeknownst to us, seemed so mystical, so magical. So we began our very inception as humans in a state of awe, in a state of worship. So Enlil used that worship gene to place himself as the god over earth, to place himself as in the position of being worshipped. Now, look across the board. In most religious traditions across the board, have very similar stories. Joseph Campbell himself showed how mythology from ancient tribes to modern day civilization all have a certain construct within their mythology. There is the hero and the anti hero. The hero takes a journey. There is hard times. There is defeat. There is weakness. There is doubt. But then the hero raises up and has to encounter a meeting with the anti-hero. The anti-hero being nothing more than the shadow or dark side of that hero. And eventually the hero has to defeat the anti-hero or become one with it. In most stories, they defeat it because they never understood the darkness, and they still don't understand it to this day. Case in point, the Asar and Satuch or Set story is misunderstood by many because of the worship gene. The worship gene that was put in us is also synonymous with the light, the worship of the light side, so on and so forth. This is what actually holds people back in their ritual work. This is what makes people say Lilith spoke to me. It ain't no one speaking to you. It ain't no one telling you anything but yourself. Now, you may get mad, upset, crumble, cry, want to kill me, destroy me. I love it all because I will devour anything you send my way and send it right back to you and annihilate you at a drop of a dime. So, the purpose of me stating this is to help spark something inside of people. It's not Lilith speaking, it's your true self speaking. Your true self, which is that rebellious gene, has been trying to wake you up for a long time because those of the left hand path are those who have the rebellious gene. And your true self utilizes archetypes as a way to communicate to you in rituals, dreams, astral travel, and so on and so forth, because they understand. Your true self understands the mindset of a human is to worship. So the true self says, well, they want to worship a Lilith, a Samael, a Belial, a so on and so forth. They want to worship that. So the only way I could really communicate is bypassing the conscious mind, which has been programmed to the max, and that program sits within the subconscious, is the true self tries to bypass that conscious mind that interrupts, tries to hold on to the programming by going straight into your subconscious mind where the reprogramming needs to take place. And it does it in the astral realm, the dream world, and it communicates and shares these messages with you. But because we need to worship, many humans want to, they need it. They feel empty if they don't. We interpret it as Lilith speaking to us. And she said this and so on and so forth. Now, your subjective experience is your subjective experience. Whatever came from that, that's what it was. But 99.9% of the time, that message was for you and you alone. For example, there is a big feminist movement within the left-hand path taking place. I understand it. But there's more to that story than meets the eye. And one day I will get there and reveal it in one of the videos. However, so you have, as a woman, had daddy issues. Your dad could have been abusive, mentally abusive, sexually abusive, so on and so forth. That left a scar, a trauma within you. The true self, your true self knows this. And your true self is going to communicate a way for you to break free from that. But what happens is our social programming, trauma, and issues can misinterpret the message, and we then get such utter nonsense as patriarchal, matriarchal. And I say nonsense because it's just that. These gender wars are ignorance. These gender wars have seeped into the left hand path and are keeping you from the true focus of your journey, which is apotheosis, self deification. In the astral, there is no gender. In the spiritual realms, there is no gender. There is only gender as we interpret it and perceive it here in the physical on the planet Earth. In the astral, there is none of that. Gender is senseless in the sense that when you get outside of the physical, it makes no difference what gender you are. Your vessel houses both energies, masculine and feminine. The problem that's seeping in now is that there's no harmony between the masculine and feminine within yourself. Therefore, it's reflecting outside of yourself and leads you to the agenda of extremism, pro-feminist, pro-alpha male, so on and so forth. And that is a disservice to you and your journey. I'll explain why. In the sense of energy itself, you have to have a harmonious integration of perfect masculine and feminine, meaning, lack of a better word, perfectly balanced between the two. Regardless if your physical vessel appears to be one gender or multiple genders, according to this new age crap going around of multiple genderizations and all this extra nonsense and fluffiness and this dumbness. The point is, you manifest into this gender for a reason. And you're losing sight of the reason when you get caught up in patriarchal, matriarchal, masculine, feminine, gender wars, so on and so forth. The reason you are here is for one major thing: to experience life. Experience life in all its totality, which means you've been here multiple times and keep missing the boat, keep missing and not seeing the big picture. The big picture is apotheosis, self-deification, mastery. That is the big picture. But along your journey, you're getting trapped with side garbage, basura, that's not even necessary. But you're hurt, your butt hurt, and I understand that because of the trauma and pain. I've gone through a lot of trauma and pain in my life, but I don't let that rule me. I rule my trauma and pain, and I transform or transmute that trauma and pain into power. There's a difference. You can sit there and whine and complain and moan and, oh, they did this and I've done that, blah, blah, blah. Or you could say, enough is enough. I'm taking hold of this and turning it into power so that I go forth in complete and utter power. So we get stuck in the genderizations. We get stuck in gender wars and miss the big picture of ultimate harmony between the two. If you're in the physical as a female, yes, your experience is to totally understand that feminine energy within the vessel of a female, because the last time you were around and came through here, this life, you experienced life as a total opposite of what you are today. So yes, you've been here multiple times, and yes, you've missed the picture quite a few times, and yes, you're still missing the picture if you're stuck in gender wars, etc., etc., etc. Because now you're here this is how I understand that one of the reasons you're here again and you're fighting in the gender wars is because the last time you were here, you were the opposite gender doing the same thing. That's no growth, no transformation. Each life that you experience is supposed to take you a little further to the end game. The end game is when you no longer need to come through this experience. Now, there's multiple experiences of you taking place right now. Within the multiverses, there is you existing in those multiverses right now. Some of us in those different multiverses are more advanced spiritually, and they experience a certain thing ourselves in a different multiverse is experiencing certain things because they may be more spiritually advanced. And when we finally experience it here, we interpret that as deja vu. No, you're just linked in with yourselves living in multiple universes at the same time, encountering different experiences that each and every one of you need for the end game. The graduation from this existence to becoming your own God. But we have difficulty becoming our own God because we are caught in a personal vendetta based upon our traumas, pains, and programming. All that is purposely it is purposely put into the matrix. It was purposely put into the left-hand path to cause more chaos in the left-hand path of an unbeneficial kind that is not beneficial to you. Your whole journey here in the left-hand path is adversarial, but you're not becoming adversarial because you're still in the trauma of your past. You're still in the socialization and conditioning and programming of your life now. You can't break free from that because you've allowed yourself to fall for the new game, the gender wars. It's male versus female. It's trans versus female. It's trans versus male. It's sexual orientation versus sexual orientation. All stupid divisions and games to keep you trapped from reaching apotheosis. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're bisexual. I don't care if you're lesbian. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care whatever you want to label yourself as. All I care about is that I share information with you that can possibly spark something in you to reach apotheosis. That's it. I don't care about all of that. You like what you like. You into what you into. You feel what you feel. But feeling and facts are two different things. Do not get caught up in feelings without factual information behind it. But enjoy your life while you're here because your purpose is to experience everything you can that will help you reach apotheosis. And some of you refuse that because you're stuck in gender wars. Some of you are not reaching apotheosis because you're stuck in your trauma. There's plenty of people out there that teach shadow work that could help you break free from the trauma, the pain, and the issues that hold you back. Cosmic Serpent, myself, Beniti, and other sisters and brothers out there that can help you break free. But if you choose to stay in there, you will stay in there. Some are caught in sexual trauma, meaning some trauma sexually occurred in your childhood. For example, I experienced that. And you can't break free. So you either become extreme sexually or you become extremely abstinent or reclusive. There is no healthy balance in between. Some people come on the left hand path because they were sexually repressed and they feel this is a path to freedom. It is. But that's not all the left hand path is about. You can enjoy your sexual pleasures, but there is more to life than sexual pleasures. I enjoy sexual pleasures to the max. And I've had people, true story, I've had people reach out to me. They discuss sexual things. I realize where they're at and I unleash sexual things towards them, desires, thoughts, fantasies, whatever. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. But they're coming at me, trying to tell me they want me, but then I unleash some real sexual stuff and they run. You're not ready. You're not ready for one to deal with yourself because the one of the main reasons people come here is because they want sexual freedom. They've been repressed their whole life. And then they understand that the responsibility goes beyond sexual freedom. See, the Agora, they got it right. The path of taboo leads to apotheosis. But the problem is people sit on the sidelines and don't encounter their taboo. Now, yes, certain taboos have legal restrictions. You have to be wise about these things. Okay? You have to be wise about these things. And taboo is not always sexual. This is the problem that humanity has. Is we relate everything to sexuality because of our sexual repression. Taboo can be something as simple as your family says don't smoke weed. So one day you decide I'm going to smoke weed and find out. Now you're on the path of taboo. You broke the taboo. Now you're experiencing why. But problem is some people get caught up. They go to marijuana, then they go to heroin, they go to meth, they go to a bunch of different things because they lack discipline, mind power, willpower. Their addictions overtake them. So in your journey, these gender wars have to stop. At some point in time, you have to realize you're receiving communication from your true self and you're misinterpreting it because of your issues. Therefore, you need to focus on your issues as you continue your journey so that the gnosis you're receiving is clear. It's clear. Everybody's going to hear Lilith in a different way because everybody's a different person. And your true self is going to utilize the communication the best way that's necessary for you. Okay? Now, was Lilith real? Does she exist in ancient times as Lilitu? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if you believe or if you're a theist, atheist. All that shit is irrelevant. More distractions, more divisions to keep you stuck. What matters to me is that whatever you do, the work benefits you. It benefits you, not subtracts, not declines, not makes you weaker, but benefits you. Makes you stronger, helps you transform. That's what matters. And until you learn to personalize your work and get to the point where you don't need an altar, you don't need statues, you don't need anything. And I speak to myself when I say that because I find myself less and less in my ritual room than ever before because I'm learning to unleash my power into this universe because everything I need is already inside of me. Shiva, who's also misinterpreted a lot because people like to make shit religious. Shiva in itself, one of the reasons Shiva became an ascetic wasn't what other people think. He was trying to escape humanity who wanted to deify him and put him on a pedestal when his objective was to tell and show people that the Shiva energy already exists inside of you. You are the destroyer and creator of your universe. You are the one who makes things happen or don't. His purpose was to show you the Shiva and Shakti energy within you and how to use it. People wanted to worship him. So he chose to separate himself from humanity because humans love to worship. Shiva is the example of who and what we are. So when you say Om Namah Shivaya, yes, it's translated as I bow to Shiva. No, that's the religious mindset. In reality, you're saying, I bow to the Shiva energy within me. I honor the Shiva within me. I am Shiva, not the Shiva. I am Shiva. I honor that energy within me. And therefore, when I honor that energy within me, I am the caretaker of that energy. I nourish, cultivate that energy, and use that energy to transform myself. Transform myself to something more than what I am today. But humans like to worship. So we take a lot of these concepts and we make it into a worship. Buddha in his very inception was left-hand path, but then became middle path. But he also noticed how people wanted to worship him, make him a god. He fought tooth and nail against that for many years, many years. He really understood that humanity cannot break free from that. That there are always going to be people who are worshipers, and very few people will rebel against that. This is why the left-hand path is a small minority, no matter what. Yes, it's gaining traction, it's more popular because of social media, things like that, but it's not and will never be for everybody. And it's not in their DNA to be in this. This is why people come and they get scared shitless and leave. It's not in their DNA. It's not in their makeup, man. This has to be in your DNA, man. That rebellious gene has to be inside of you. It has to spark at some point in time, wake you up, and that's when you say, I'm journeying this. I'm going knee deep into this. Matter of fact, I'm going so deep into this that there's no turning back. We have to literally take an inventory of all these concepts that we're flooded with all the time and realize the greatest purpose on the left-hand path is apotheosis. And some point in time, you can only deify yourself when you separate from deities outside of you, externally. Therefore, Shiva became an ascetic, separated himself from humanity because he wanted to master more of himself, understand his power more. And he realized the distractions of these worshiping fools is not going to allow me to reach that level. I need to separate from this nonsense. Why a lot of people on the left-hand path are solitary is because of that main reason. We do not get along with humans like that. Other people, we do not get along with a lot of these people. We don't. Because somewhere along the line, they're going to say something stupid, ridiculous, and ignorant that's going to make you either want to smack the living crap out of them or just walk away and never be heard from again. Okay? This is why we do the solitary practices. But don't get that twisted. We're not solitary in totality. We are attracted to others who are like-minded, who have done the work. Then we become a small community that rolls like a wolf pack. And we are undefeatable at that moment. There's a reason why people join temples, orders, things of that nature on the left-hand path. And even on the right hand path. There's a reason why in African traditions you join a house, a temple, because your subjective experience is usually verified by others who have more experience on this same journey. Not that your experiences and results in your spiritual work is any less significant or any less powerful. It's that sometimes this human mind is delusional and will create shit that ain't really there and then want people to co-sign it as if it's true. So in these communities and temples and secret societies and orders, there is a way to verify the experience as being solid. Because there's a general thing that happens across the board when you do rituals. That helps determine if you tripping or you on point. I'll give you an example when people start tripping on the left-hand path. I gave you one earlier. Lilith, Kali, Shiva, Bilal, Lucifer, talk to me. Lucifer gave me a message. He said this and stop it. That's that's your own bullshit all day and night coming out of you. You got a little bit of gnosis in your work, and now you want to pass it off as some super spiritual law. These are those are the retards, fucktards right there. Okay, that's what they are. And then they continue in their delusions, and then they become, Ra Amun Geb Set or Tahuti Amudef, whatever. And it continues. There's Sekhmet, Asset, Mut. They just can't be Keisha, Taiwana, Jane, Mary, Robert, Tyrone. Nah, they can't be that. They have to always try to magnify and glorify themselves and have done no work to even justify that mindset. They are stuck in an ignorant mindset, delusional mindset that they cannot break free from because they have not done the work. When you really done the work, this work on the left-hand path will humble your ass. I didn't say make you humility is weakness. I said humble you. That means they will break you down and make you face yourself to make you realize as much as you know, you don't know. As much as you think you done, you ain't done shit yet. And it will keep happening because in this work, you're supposed to experience multiple levels of death. Death and rebirth is a part of the spiritual journey on the left-hand path. You cannot break free from it. It is a part of the journey. But people refuse to do the work for real. So the grab, I had a person years ago came into my classes from someone else's classes, try to see what I was saying so they can report back to that person. I told them, tell that person to come right here, and you too, I'll let y'all know what's the business. Don't be doing some sneaky underhanded shit because I don't have time for that. We go at it face to face, period. Are you that scared of what's being taught that you got to send your agents into a class? Weakness, man. That's weakness trying to perpetrate a fraud. Like they're strong, like they're amazing. We have somebody on Facebook claiming to be a cis, whining about his divorce and woman this and woman that. Get a grip, homeboy. Sit, don't whine. Sit, don't complain. Sit, don't do any of that nonsense you're doing. You ain't Sith. You're a pussy. I called it out as it is. Okay? And all you who co-signed that ignorant fool, y'all pussies too. I said it. Come see me if you have a problem. Period. Don't forget who you were before you came into this. I've always been a warrior, and I'm a warrior now, just magnified warrior. And the war I do is a spiritual war within and without, if it's necessary. Mental war within and without, if it's necessary. And a physical war with myself, my body, making sure I stay healthy, and a physical war outside of myself for the enemies who want to try to test me. And there's a lot who try to test me physically. Many times you're going to lose straight up in every level. But my focus is within, not without. So this is why I don't give life to a lot of these fools. But sometimes some of y'all say some of the stupidest shit that I have to say something. There's some shit that just don't sit right with you. You have to say something. Some of y'all too cowards to speak up, so you let it keep being said, and they end up misleading and misinformation, all this nonsense. Yo, be responsible and take ownership for what you learning too. You know, the shit you're learning, you're supposed to take ownership over. I didn't just wake up when they say, "Oh, I want to be a teacher." Oh, and then YouTube, and I show up on YouTube and look at me. Before I ever taught on YouTube, there was a time we did live classes. You remember those? Yeah, live classes. I started teaching in 1995, but I had been studying since 1989. I didn't jump in and say, "Oh, look, I read some books and I know some stuff." The problem with people today is they do that a lot. I started teaching in 1995 after taking 6 years of heavy work studying and initiations. And I'm still teaching to this day. I'm going on 30 years of teaching. Unfortunately, we don't do live class, face-to-face classes like we used to. It would be beautiful if that started again. Because there's a different energy that happens when you interact with people face to face, and a greater understanding that usually comes out of it. Nowadays, everything is synthetic, digital, and it's impersonal. That's why I hate when people all they do is text. Talk to me, call me, damn it. I'm not with your texting, man. Texting leads to a lot of misinterpretations. You wanna know what I really mean? Call me, yo. All that is irrelevant. All that digital warfare and discussions. Stop it. This is the task of what it means to personalize your work. Personalization is going beyond the altar. Is going beyond the ritual in front of the altar. It is going beyond the written word in the ritual or books, so on and so forth. It is learning to listen to your own spirit language. It is learning to identify and make contact with your demonic self, your true self, your higher self, as some would say. But I hate using words higher and lower because all those are relevant and not irrelevant. Higher and lower both must be mastered, and most definitely have to be integrated. You fools who think everything has to be high, high, high. That's the problem. You're high right now, high on some drugs. Okay? All of it is relevant. Everything you experience is relevant. And humans add degrees to those relevancies. Oh, this is something minute, so it really is not that important. Yes, it is. In every experience, there's something you learn. If you take it and categorize it, then it loses its significance, and what you were supposed to learn is minimized. Get out into this world and create your world. But here's the problem. This is how I want to finish this off. We have a lot of quotes that people like to use. There's some people on YouTube and more particularly Instagram, Facebook that love quoting. That's all they do is post quotes and motivational quotes and blah 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 blah. Here's the problem. One of the biggest misunderstood quotes is thoughts create your reality. That's only partially true. Oh, you can hate me if you want to, but I just love it when you do. Thoughts don't create things. And why I said it's partially true is because the thought needs to have a spark behind it to make it manifest. So thoughts, emotions, and feelings create a reality. See, imagine if every thought you had manifested, this world would be even worse than it is today. It is only the most powerful thoughts that are magnetized and charged up with your emotions, your feelings, your passion that manifest into reality, that become real. That is the missing piece of it all. So people love to say, thoughts create your reality. Thoughts, and that sounds deep for a minute until you really analyze it. No, that's partially true, homeboy, homegirl. Every thought does not manifest into a reality. This world will be more chaotic than it already is. Only the most powerful thoughts charged by your emotions, passion, feelings become reality. This is why you could think many things and it never manifests. This is why the law of attraction is bullshit. Okay? Because they didn't give you the whole piece, they gave you pieces here and there. Oh, I just visualize me driving a Mercedes and then it manifests. No, it's incorrect, man. You could visualize being in a Mercedes all day and night and die with never being and owning a Mercedes. Why that didn't become a reality is two reasons. Your emotions and feelings about that thought and your actions that you take in the physical. Some of y'all fools just talk all day and night on social media, day and night. And I wonder, when the fuck do you do any work? When do you fucking do work, man? Do you ever do some real work? And don't tell me, yeah, man, I'm just a chaos being, yeah. I just let my chaos out. Bro, you don't even know what the hell chaos is. You just heard someone say it and repeated it. And the person who said it didn't even know what they meant either. And the one before them didn't know what they meant either. It just sounded cute, sounded deep. That's not what it means to be chaos. Study what chaos really is. Study how it works, how it moves. Then you could be a master over that chaos. And then you can call yourself a chaos being and realize it's more than just saying it. It's actual action that must take place to understand what chaos is. Manifest your power into this world, people. Personalize your work into this world, people, because y'all right now are becoming super religious, super spooky, and super stuck on social programming, traumatic issues that you refuse to overcome. I have a shadow work class that's just sitting there on Patreon because some of y'all too high and mighty to admit you need some serious help. Keep doing it, man. Do you, as we say, right? People say, do you. Yes, do you. Keep staying in your ignorance. Keep staying in your trauma and your pain and keep creating a world because the pain and trauma is fueled by hurt feelings and emotions, and you keep creating a miserable world. Or get up off your ass and admit to yourself, humble yourself to yourself and say, I need some help. And don't use money as an excuse because some of y'all smoke and drink more than freaking is necessary. And if you just stop buying that $35, $40, $50, $60 hard liquor, you could afford a class. But no, you get this every week and then make an excuse. I don't have money. Fool, of course you don't have money. You spending $40, $50, $60 on hard liquor every freaking weekend. Some of y'all do it 2, 3 times during the week, and you wonder why you broke and you can't afford a class that could possibly help you transform. Nah, you deserve to stay stupid. You deserve to stay ignorant, and you deserve to stay in your misery because you're making excuses for your elevation. Because you want to stay addicted to stuff that's not going to elevate you, because the addiction is the coping mechanism called drugs, alcohol, sex, so on and so forth. You wonder why people are messed up because you refuse to do something about it. And then you celebrity worshipers, I cannot stand you. I cannot stand you people. Celebrities are no more powerful than you are. But you know why you worship? Because that's what I said early in the video. That DNA, that worship DNA is still inside of you. So if you're not worshiping the God, you're worshiping Beyonce. Oh, look, you see Beyonce. You see the colors she had. Listen, 90% of the time, these fools don't even know what they're about. Beyonce is initiated into Ifa. That's it. That's it. She's not an occultist. Cut the caca. All right? She is initiated into Ifa. So, of course, if she wears yellow, she's the daughter of Oshun. But that comes with rules, regulations, restrictions, and worship all in itself. She don't know shit. The people putting the videos together, those behind the scenes are the occultists who know how to work it, to have you feed your emotions and energy to it. And you fools do it every time. Weak ass fools. I watch some of you occultists and everything's Lilith. Beyonce has the Lilith energy. Oh, this Nicki Minaj has this, and fools. That shit is irrelevant to your fucking life. But you're fools. You want to give relevancy where there's none. They're living their life. Unfortunately, your broke ass ain't living your life. If you got to go out of your way to get an autograph from a motherfucking hip hop artist, which most of these trap artists are straight trash. I said it. Garbage. I said, if it hurts your feelings, fuck you, you pussy ass person. All right? You're straight trash. And it purposely brought out trap to dumbify you fools, and you allowing it to happen. Wake the fuck up. Stop the celebrity worship. Stop the spook worship. Stop the God worship. You're fools. You replace one thing with the other. Also, you woke up. You think you deep now. I'm conscious. Well, I don't worship. Then you bypass that spiritual bypassing because you're still avoiding the emotions, the trauma, the pain, circumstances in life, and you're bypassing it by not creating some new God or goddess you want to worship, which is celebrities. You're still doing the same shit. Then when you get past that, you want to alien worship. Oh, this alien and these people and that fucking thing and this. Stop it. Humans, you're fucking slaves, man. We all are slaves. And we're not waking up to that reality. So we are used and abused, and we deserve it if you're not willing to use the power within you. Use the power within, personalize your life by ritualizing your life, and stop always relying on an altar and statues. You are the goddamn statue. You are the goddamn altar. You are the moving vessel of this black flame that exists inside of you. You are that. But unless you refuse to activate that, you deserve what you get. And I'm going to keep saying it till it hurts you and wakes you up. You deserve what you get. Every bit of it, you deserve what you get. So finish this off because this is the last video I'm doing till January. New class, shadow work class. We're going to do guided meditation. We're going to do journaling. We're going to do ritual work. We're going to do physical exercises, so on and so forth, to release what is necessary and heal yourself. I also have the black path, the black path, also known as the path of the serpent, which is dealing with the jinn, shaitan, iblis, and that dark energy. Don't come into that class if you ain't ready to unleash that jinn, shaitan energy. It is not a joke. It is not the Goetia, the Goetic demons who were originally jinn, and the Latin or Catholic Church and the Vatican, when they got artifacts and information, took it, rewrote it, watered it down, Latinized it, changed the names, and gave it back to you as the Goetic demons in Goetia. This is the original raw form of that. And the jinn are very destructive, very dark, very violent energy that you must be ready to work with. But that class is there. We're going to do dhikring. If you don't know what dhikr is in Arabic, it's basically to chant and bring and invoke the energy of whatever jinn you're speaking to or trying to communicate or control. We're going to do what's called a Sufi dance from the black path, the path of the serpent, where your body moves in a certain way, creating the serpent, activating the serpentine energy to open you up to receive information, knowledge, and power from the jinn or shaitan and iblis. There's much more we're going to do. Those two classes are there, plus the vampirism class, which is being reworked and redone to another level. Tunnels of Set, we're about halfway through, and then we're opening up the Cliff-Eye. And we're going to work that from a level y'all have never seen. That we're going to have the class that prepares you for breathing exercises, awakening the serpent within, awakening that part of yourself by doing breathing exercises, vampiric breathing exercise, vampiric kundalini exercises, vampiric energy draining. It's a basic level to prepare you for the advanced vampire class and other classes that are on Patreon. Hey, y'all did y'all New Year's resolution or haven't done it yet? Get over your traumas, issues, and do some shadow work. Do something. All right? If you don't want to do shadow work with a man because you're stuck on a feminine agenda, Cosmic Serpent's right there for you. She is a bomb teacher. She is everything that you need in shadow work. My sister used to be in my classes. I love her to death. She is powerful. She is beautiful. She works her shit. Go work with her if you don't want a man to do that. That's fine. Ain't no problems. Just do something, damn it. All right? Infernal blessings, infernal greetings to those I didn't greet earlier. Infernal blessings. Y'all work this. Y'all do your work. You keep representing. But just listen to these words, man. Let it penetrate and do something with your work beyond the normal. All right.